Once again, Tim Pot 6 music. It's creaking at the seams. It's held together by elastic bands and talented people who rush in and press buttons. I just stand here, blank-faced, looking angry, looking sort of annoyed, ready to storm out Chris Martin style. But I didn't. But nevertheless, I'm back from New York City. It's amazing. We could do a transatlantic show. We could have sessions. We could have all kinds of stuff going on. Me in New York, the team here in London. Not a single error. Some saying it's Sony Award-winning Radio Gold. Others saying no one's saying anything other. They're all agreeing that it was a dynamite show. This week we're all here, ready to go. We've been in for hours. There's a massive balls up right at the beginning of the programme. But has it put me in a bad mood? Of course it hasn't. Because I'm an absolute pro. And Rufus, you weren't with us last week.
No, very sadly not, Steve.
Let me just introduce the gang. We've got Rufus.
Hello.
Hiya, Harry.
Hello, Sammy.
Perfect, lovely, beautifully done, slick. And you missed out on the big transatlantic show.
I listened to it, Steve.
Did you?
Well, you know how much I love your show when I'm not on it.
Of course.
So I listened to it, and the LL interview was particularly extraordinary.
Listen, for those that did not catch me in conversation with rap supremo LL Cool J, I think probably the Listen Again feature, you only got hours left. So it'd be mad for you to listen to that instead of listening to the live show. Yeah. But anyway, this very much was the crowning moment of that, and I'm so proud of myself. I feel the need to play it again. We were speaking to LL Cool J. He was calling us on the phone from his New York-based home, and I felt it was only appropriate that I should give him some of my own rhymes, that I should, throw the gauntlet down, if you will. So I threw back in his face one of his own great tunes, and this was the result.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom, explosion, overpowering, over the competition I'm towering, wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move, don't ever compare me to the rest of the lot. Get sliced and diced, competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out.
Stop. You're gonna get me put out of business. You sound too good.
Were you pretty impressed by that?
Absolutely, man. Your flow's impeccable, man. Incredible. Your flow is inscrutable.
Your flow is impeccable and inscrutable. That's LL Cool J, the words of LL Cool J. Ladies love Cool James. He knows what he's talking about. That's what you are dealing with today, guys.
Our views on how you did don't count, because LL Cool J's views supersede ours.
I think that's probably true, although maybe I'll play a tune and find out what your views are. I didn't realise there were anything other than, God bless you, Steve, you are truly now a god in our eyes. I didn't realise there was any dissent to that, but we'll find out after this. Released on June 23rd, that's Black Kids, of course, taken from their debut album, Party Traumatic. And it's their second single, and it's very good indeed. It's called Hurricane Jane. It's the Steve Show, BBC Six Music, with me, Steve Merchant, my little gang here. We were just discussing my rapping for LL Cool J. He described it, in his own inimitable way.
Your flow's impeccable.
That was his verdict, but you didn't feel the same way, Har?
Well, no, I enjoyed it. I always enjoy your rapping, Steve, but, maybe I didn't think it was quite that good.
Well, perhaps you felt that there was a certain degree of, mystery and intrigue to it.
Your flow is inscrutable.
I don't know.
Well, we were discussing upstairs if it'd be possible to put a beat under it, but it would be impossible to put a beat under it because
Why?
It didn't really follow any sort of natural rhythm.
Well, it's my own flow, isn't it? My own impeccable flow. I'm doing it in my own style.
Traditionalists would say that hip-hop needs to stick to a steady 4/4 beat.
Right.
But as my best friend Tristan once remarked...
of course your best friend is called Tristan.
He knows a lot about hip-hop.
Of course he does. If there's an authority on hip-hop, it's a guy named Tristan.
Who lives in St Margaret.
Exactly.
Tristan was trying to mix together a track by my own band Megalodon, and he remarked that the problem was that there was no common time code.
Right.
Which was a very gentle way of saying the drumming wasn't particularly kind of, reliable.
Sure.
And
so what's your point, though? I don't understand what your point is.
Well, whether or not a purist would say that your flow, impeccable though it was, had any actual rhythm to it, or beat you could put behind it.
So if we could match you up with Rufus's old drummer, who's terrible at keeping rhythm as well, the two of you might really have something.
Right, okay. So this is very interesting because this is your view, Rufus, and yet you have not sold 13 million records.
No.
You've never even performed for one of the giants of hip-hop.
No.
And yet you now sit here here in your posho way and point the finger at me.
Pointing any fingers.
Your flow's impeccable.
Listen to the man. Listen. Just listen and absorb.
I'm just so jealous. I had a couple of nicknames at school based on my slightly unusual name. You've got a nickname that LL Cool J has given you.
Yes.
That's your new nickname.
And I'm going to put those words on every single thing I ever do. I'm going to have it on T-shirts. I'm going to have it tattooed. I'm going to have it, if I ever do any kind of live performance work, musical or otherwise, it's going to be there, emblazoned in big words. I might do a novelty Edinburgh show. You know, it's Steve Merchant, his flow is impeccable. Sold out. You know, of course, naturally. People will be so excited just to lay down some rhymes. Sammy, you speak for the youth on this programme. What's the youth saying? Interesting. I didn't like that note of hesitation from the youth.
Maybe your flow is impeccable because it's your personal flow.
Thank you.
So each one of our flows will be to the best of our abilities and therefore impeccable. Against people like LL Cool J, I'm guessing it's probably not what could be described as impeccable, nay inscrutable.
Right. That was a bit muddy. Did you like it or not?
It made me feel like I was watching my nana dancing.
I think I take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
I've never met your grandmother, but I suspect she's a groovy lady.
That's exactly what she is.
Hey, do you know what? Talking of nanas, it's Father's Day today. And thanks to all our nanas for giving birth to our papas. Here's a tune from my papa, and all papas out there. It's The Temptations. Playing that, of course, for dads everywhere. Papa was a Rolling Stone, The Temptations. Happy Father's Day.
Point of order, Steve.
Yeah.
Lovely father-related song though it is. Papa was a Rolling Stone. Essentially about a sort of layabout father, doesn't work, he's got kids all over the place.
No, of course I'm joking. I'm the only. No, I know. I was going to say nasty things, but that would be absurd because none of it's true. And also, we'd get into trouble. It's a Sunday afternoon. I didn't want to get offensive. Let's hear from Lamo.
Sex music.
I think he plays some records as well. So then, a musical choice from you, Sammy.
Yeah, and sadly it isn't dad-based today, because I've used up all the music that my dad likes that is Six music friendly. Everything aside from that is, just unlistenable. So I've had to go for something else, but I do, there is a deep dad intent there. Happy Father's Day, you lovely man. I've actually gone for something that's released tomorrow. I'm right on it today.
You really are.
New music.
And I've gone for the Rascals. People have probably heard it before, but if you haven't got into the Rascals, I strongly recommend you get their new album. It's fantastic. Obviously, Miles Kane, half of The Last Shadow Puppets. So if you like that, you'll love them. And this is Freak Beat Phantom.
Thank you. Sammy, you said it was released tomorrow. What the hell was it?
It was Freak Beat Phantom by the Rascals. And like you say, they are very Arctic Monkeys sounding, but is that a bad thing?
Well, no, because the Arctic Monkeys shift a lot of records.
Exactly.
That's why I try my hardest to sound like Steve Wright in the afternoon. Round of applause for that. He's got millions of listeners. So you remember a couple of weeks back, after I came back from my excursions to Vietnam and Cambodia, brought with me quite the dapper hat. It caused quite a stir here in the studio. A lot of people, perhaps, I was going to say, were they fans of it? You generally were negative.
It was ridiculous.
Well, you said it was ridiculous. You seemed, Rufus, to have specific problems with the brim.
It was the width of the brim width was what I got particularly worried about.
Sammy was annoyed by the material.
It was Neo Wicker.
Did you say it was Neo Wicker? Neo Wicker.
Neo Wicker.
And Harry, you just generally hate everything.
Yeah.
So listen, while I was in NYC, a guy sold me a hat. Hey, it's the best you've ever looked. Wear this, it's the best you ever looked. Was not how he sounded. But anyway, he flogged me a hat, and I brought it with me. I want you to see. It's along similar lines.
Okay.
But perhaps
it fits you.
Well, I just wonder whether the brim is sufficiently wide, etc.
Should we all spin round so you can have a reveal?
Trying to think what the best way to do this is. I quite like to squeeze in Jeremy Wormsley before the news. That's the problem.
Yeah. Just put it on.
I think I'll squeeze in Warmo, and then we can we'll have some news, and then we'll discuss hats after that. Wow, if that doesn't keep people listening, I don't know what will. Current single from Jeremy Wormsley, that's called The Boat Song, and that's available now. We have to go to the news shortly, but of course you can get in touch with us. I forgot to mention that. Perhaps you've got a view. Oh, there he goes. Perhaps you've got a view on maybe the hats when we reveal that shortly, or you may even have some views on my impeccable flow. Remember, we found this a while back, and this is much more useful. For some reason, we found it incredibly difficult to read out the email address, so there's a lady who does it for us.
Text us on 64046 or email stephen.6music@bbc.co.uk.
Yeah, well, someone who has emailed in, Steve, is Tim, who says, Steve, it's my 18th birthday today. In celebration, would you be able to play some great new music interspersed with amusing chats?
You're damn right I will, but I'm going to have to do that after the news.
On digital, online.
Another guy whose flow was impeccable, the late ODB featuring Achilles, and that's Got Your Money from 1999. It's the Steve Show, BBC Six Music, with me, Steve Merchant, and my little gang here. We got Harry.
Hello.
Works in a bank. Rufus.
What's up?
Posh. And Sammy.
Hiya.
Northern. So there we are. Here we are. And yes, you may recall a couple of weeks back came in with the hat. It was dynamite. Everyone agreed. Except the people here in the studio. They thought it was laughable. You may have seen photographs of it in a popular weekend newspaper a couple of weeks back as well. Actually in situ in Cambodia. So maybe you've drawn your own conclusions. So bought myself a new hat stateside in the United States of New York. The city of apples, the big angel. And so here's now your chance, guys, to see if I've done better second time round. I'm trying to think, what's the best? Are you going to close your eyes and then?
Okay,
you close your eyes and I'll get it. I'll put it on. Okay. Is the webcam working? Do we know? Okay. So once again, this is a great opportunity for there to be some interactivity. You can check out the new hat on the webcam. Okay, just because it's a bit crumpled, bit crunched. Okay, ready, guys? Go. What are you talking about? What? I did not expect laughter. I can't BS you. I did not expect laughter.
It is Wicker. That's not Neil Wicker. It's Wicker.
It's
Wicker.
not Wicker. This is what is happening in the hat world right now, Sammy.
Is it not a bit too small?
It's
How
big.
is it? What are you talking
You
about?
keep
Small.
underestimating the size of your
I
massive
would
head.
say this is too big. I would genuinely say this is too big.
It's perched atop your head like
Are
a
you
cherry
joking?
on a cake.
Are you having an absolute?
It's perched on the top of your head.
This is how these hats are worn.
no,
Yes, it is. We're not living in the 1950s. It's not Mad Men where we're all wearing trilbies that come down over our eyes. What's happening in Hatland at the moment is that people are wearing them perched atop their crown.
You're not in Hatland. You're in elastic chin strap land.
What are you talking
Pull
about?
out in a
Cowboy hat.
light breeze, it's going to blow off your
That
head.
is the perfect fit. Look, you can see how far it's come down on the head. I shouldn't even be wearing it that tight.
Is it a child's hat?
You do not know what you are talking about. You are some of the least informed people when it comes to hat wearing that I have ever had the misfortune of being in a room with.
There's a ribboned band, which is very
Do
nice.
you prefer the width of the brim?
Yeah, the width of the brim is more adequate. It's got a good 1.5 inches on it. The other one had about kind of quarter half-inch brim. That wasn't right.
I disagree with the notion that this is too small.
I think you look like a kind of shabby, low-rent detective on holiday.
At last, at last, that's what I've always wanted to look like. No, I really have to take issue with you. What I'd like you to do, get on the web, look up some well-known hat wearers, maybe a Doherty, the like, see what's happening in the hat world at the moment, because I swear to God, it is this. This is what's happening.
Is that what the man told you in New York?
The guy told me, this is the best you've ever looked. That's what he said to me. He said, it was the best I'd ever looked.
Has he seen you in the previous hat?
I was wearing it probably at the time. He obviously could tell there was a certain vein I liked in my hats. How many hats am I going to have to buy before I get your approval? Are you going to have to come hat shopping with
One
me?
that fits?
This is just so out of order.
That one there, that picture of Pete Doherty, that hat is pulled down firmly
You don't pull a hat down over your ears. What kind of...
towards his ears. You've got an inch before your ear starts.
What are you talking about? There it is. It's almost touching the ear.
Just because you pulled it down onto your ears.
Yeah.
No, but what, you don't want a hat that's like just sloppy, that's hanging up. Not these kind of hats. They're supposed to be slightly smaller and slightly, sort of pork pie.
If you lean it back, then you can have a couple of clear inches above your eyebrow, like Frank Sinatra on the cover of
Right.
Slightly to
Songs for
one
Swinging
side,
Lovers.
jaunty. That's maybe
That's slightly better. But if you're going to have it